I'm sort of been the one that has wired all the stuff and been responsible for working the 3D printer when we had to use that, and also helped develop ideas and build the robot.
I'm Jarrett Saad, and I'm a junior, and like Simon, this is my first time working with anything robotics, and so I was really new to all this. So what I helped do is I helped with all the mechanics, putting together the robot, getting the treads to work properly, and just anything that needed to be done with the team.
My name is Alex Sharman. I'm a freshman at Windsor High School. I was in charge of programming, but I also helped out with building and some wiring, but mostly the programming.
Yeah, so we have a robot here, and since we all were new to this, we tried to keep it relatively simple, because the more simple, the less errors and mistakes. And that was also what we succeeded at our qualifier. We ran in all 5 rounds. A lot of other teams had trouble, and we were able to score really consistent. At that point, we were pushing blocks. We have a little dozer here in front, and then we had an arm that could trigger the zip liner. And that was all we could do at that point. Now, since then, we have added a way to score the climbers in the rescue bucket, and we also are hoping to get a high zone score using our tape measure.
All right. So one of our biggest challenges with the robot was the programming. It wasn't the actual programming itself that was a challenge. It was installing Android Studios that was a pain. Well, with Windows 7, it was pretty easy. It literally just took 5 minutes. But with Windows 10, it's a challenge. Way more of a challenge. So we're still working on the bugs of Windows 10. That still isn't 100% solved, but it's pretty much mostly solved now. So some of the teams that helped us out along the way were Team 5115. They helped me with programming. They helped with Simon with some of the wiring, and they helped with the overall design of the robot, just giving us some helpful ideas and hints.
Yeah. So in general, we have been 4 teams this year at our high school, Windsor, and at some points it really felt like we're just one big team building for our robots, because we had some older teams and then we had a lot of new guys coming in. So it was really nice the older guys could help us, because we didn't really know about this system we were building with. They didn't either, because we got this new system this year, but we have been really working well together and worked as one big team.
So throughout all this, we gained a lot of new experiences. One of the big things we learned is how to coordinate with our team, like who can come in when, who can do what when, and just really how to divide up the time and get the robot built on time. We also learned a lot of mechanical skills, because as we said, most of us were very inexperienced. We had never really done this before. Some of us may have had experience with the Lego League, but before this, we didn't really have any real mechanical knowledge. So we learned a lot through that, and we really learned how to work with a team.
Yeah. Another thing we really like about this overall is the gracious professionalism, and as I talked about earlier, we have really had a lot of help from other people new to the system, and we had some bugs we just couldn't figure out how to solve ourselves. So they have been really nice to help us, and we got a really nice robot today. Also, community service, we have been sort of this spring, we have been starting up some helping programs, and some of us have been going to the middle schools and elementary schools local to try and help both their FLL programs and try help the ones that's coming up to FTC and working with us next year possibly, and just trying to mentor a little of them. And then because the way our schedule worked out, we have had the time to volunteer and help all of us at the Northern Colorado qualifier, and I was at the East Metro qualifier too, and worked down there and helped a lot, which has both been a nice way to get back to the other teams that have helped us, in a way that we have learned a lot, because especially I was really lucky the first time I got to be assistant scorekeeper, so I could sit and watch the field all day and got a lot of good ideas to how we can work our robot better.
So what really makes our robot special is it's sturdy. When we were starting out, we didn't have a lot of experience, like we said. So all we could really do was build something that was sturdy. We didn't have the knowledge to build something that was really complicated. So we went with sturdiness. And that's really what helped us win our last competition. Is of all the robots, we had the least mechanical issues. We had the least connectivity issues. So we were able to stay together. And that was a big part of our strategy too, is just scoring as many points as we can and not breaking down, and being one of the few teams that could do that.
Yeah. Cool. So thank you guys for listening, and
Do you have any
if you have any
questions?
questions, okay.
Do you run in autonomous mode?
We're still working on figuring that out. We really hope to get that before Saturday, but we should be able to get a simple autonomous, but we're not 100% sure yet.
What was the greatest challenge?
Definitely the programming. Alex can talk more about that.
And I actually went with this one other team. I think their team number was 9989.
99.99. 98.99, sorry.
98.99. All right. Thanks. Yeah, they showed me like sort of that they apparently had a lot of experience with using Android Studios already. And so they showed me sort of the code just to get like a motor running and where to put it if I wanted to add more motors to it. And that was a great help, but they told me also how to install Android Studios, but I think they were using Windows 7. So I knew how to install on Windows 7, but not Windows 10.
Yeah.
I know they use Linux, sorry, not Windows. They were using Linux, which Linux and Windows 7 are pretty easy to install it on, but Windows 10, not so much.
Did you have a lot of adult help on this?
I don't want to say so, no. Of course, we have had our mentors and coaches, Mr. Klein and Mr. Watson, but I feel like we've been, actually working the design process, and so have been our own ideas. Then we had like some help just organizing and when we can be in the lab and ordering parts and stuff like that. But the design process and the building process has been our own, with help from the other students.
So what specific parts have you 3D modeled?
So we
to be
have,
able to print?
we have a few here, the strain relief pieces and the contact switches and the battery holder, which is just things we got from online, like just an online archive of 3D files. But then we have a dozer down here, which I drew up on a 3D program, and we have our finger up that's supposed to score the climbers in, which is both parts that's totally unique for our robot, but we have made ourselves.
Which we also, I guess we do. We also, we have the cord holders too.
Yeah.
That'll keep those in place and from slipping out, which has also helped us.
Is that something that you guys designed, or is that?
No, that was a part we found
Okay.
from resources.
Yeah, that's something that's been a common part amongst all the teams in Windsor. All of the teams kind of adopted the same kind of parts to work with the wires and take the stress off of them and hold things in place.
So what was the most difficult thing that you as a team faced?
At first, we had the programming, and we had a problem that the robot was always a couple of weeks ahead of the programming. And then I think also because none of us really knew each other, it took us a while to figure out like how do we communicate and just getting ourselves organized and figure out who do what and all that process, because we haven't worked together with the robot before.
And also the actual design of our robot, because every design that we tried at first would either scrape and damage the board, which would mark us off as penalties, or just would not hold together and just sort of fall apart. So that took a while to create.
Yeah.
Well, did we actually have that design figured out? It was later, like all the other teams were working on wiring while we were still working on the overall just frame of our robot.
Yeah. But that was the thing we took a lot of time to work on, getting a really solid frame, and from there we could build up. So the arm I think maybe like 5 weeks ago, we only had a frame that could move. That was about it. And since then, we've been adding on.
How many iterations of the frame? Have you torn it down completely and built it back up, or have you?
Pretty much, yeah.
How many times have you gone through that?
I would say between like 5 and 8 different modifications.
Yeah,
It took us a while. We have this system up here. You can see where we have the motor placed underneath the bar. So we have the tread being the first contact surface with the mountain, which took us a while to figure out that solution. But as we have it now, we're really happy about it because it works.
So which direction you go up and down?
We can actually sort of go both ways. It depends on what we're aiming to do. If we're aiming, now we're placed for tape measure, so we're going to go out this way. We can also go out this way if we want to just get 5 points. So it depends on what we're aiming to do.
Who thought of this, the tape measure?
What?
Who thought of the tape measure?
We've sort of been discussing it within ourselves throughout the season since we saw some other teams using it. Some not successful at all, a few successful, but then as we got into now and we're getting close to state, we're sort of desperate to get higher on the mountain. And we tried some different chats, but it didn't work. And then we figured, let's try this, and it appears to be pretty solid.
3 minutes.
Fundraising?
we had the help of, we have a friend whose dad works for this company called Possible Mobile that we have on here. They gave us a $500 donation if we put their stickers onto our robot.
Okay.
So we didn't do as much fundraising as we were sponsored.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's definitely part we need to work on, that fundraising.
We'll talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
So, no, impressive. So your robot has been successful and you've actually done well with
Yes,
this
sir.
robot.
We, we're really surprised when we went to our state qualifier. We expected, we knew how many points we could score, but we had seen the previous week that people were scoring about 100 points. And I think our higher score that day was about 50, 60 points. So we're really surprised that the level was a little higher that qualifier. We're happy about it. So we scored consistently about 50 points, and that was enough to win all 5 qualifying matches and win the elimination rounds.
So is this the whole team here?
No, we decided to only have 3 since at our qualifying sort of, when we showed you, when we would present our robot, we couldn't get through all of it in the amount of time we needed to, so we decided just to take half of our team in here.
So there are 3 other?
We have
people?
3 more members, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Good.
Very good.
What about a minimum?
Good. I'm assuming you have a notebook somewhere.